Hello everyone, my name is Sahil Rally. I'm from Himachal Pradesh, Kullu. I've done my graduation from here and my further studies from HP University, Shimla as well. So today we'll be talking about the circulatory system in humans. Before understanding what circulatory system is, first we need to understand what circulation is. This is the circulatory system, but in order to understand this, we need to understand what circulation is. Circulation is nothing but the movement of different fluids inside a system. And these fluids in case of humans will be blood and lymph. And in other animals it could be other fluid. This fluid will pass the different nutrients, ions, minerals and respiratory gases to the different cells so that the cells can work properly. That is only the circulation, the movement of fluids. And if we talk about the system or circulatory system means that there is an interweaving network of different tubules or tubes that will help to pass these fluid from one part of the body to another. Why it is needed? Because the transportation of the different minerals and ions are only dependent upon these tubules. If they are not there, there will be no transport. So that complete network of these tubules or tubes will form the circulatory system. There are different kind of tubules which are present in human system. So before going through that, first we are talking about the different fluids which are present in the human circulatory system. So mainly there are three types of the fluid: the blood, the interstitial fluid and the lymph. These are the three fluids that are present in the circulatory system, or the fluids that will circulate in human body. First we'll take them one by one. We are talking firstly about the blood. Blood is red in color, we all know, because of the presence of pigment hemoglobin. Secondly, why blood appears to be red? Blood appears to be red because when it's exposed to air, it reacts with the air and forms a red color pigment. That is why it is red in color when it comes in contact with air. But when it is inside the vessels, it is flowing inside the vessels, it is generally purple or violet in color. One more thing, heart is the main organ that pumps the blood. Heart pumps the blood. One more thing, what is more important we'll have to discuss about the blood is that blood is always flowing. Always flowing. Another thing, blood is not only a fluid, it contains different types of cells also. RBCs are there, WBCs are there, platelets are there, and formed elements are there. Formed elements are also there. So this was the brief discussion about blood. Now we'll move towards the interstitial fluid. Before moving to interstitial fluid, the blood, one thing that we need to know is that blood is being pumped by the heart. So heart is only acting as a pumping organ, nothing else. When we talk about interstitial fluid is that fluid which is present in between the different cells. I'll make you understand with the help of a diagram. See, this is the one cell, this is another cell. It's a complete network of a tissue. So different cells are there. This is the nucleus of all and different cells. Each and every cell has its own nucleus. So the space that you are seeing here, it will be filled with certain type of the fluid. Generally this fluid is quite mobile, and this fluid which is present in between the different cell, this is known as interstitial fluid. What is the role of interstitial fluid? So we know that blood is the main fluid that transport the minerals, ions and nitrogenous waste as well as the respiratory gases. Here when the nitrogenous waste is eliminated out, only the respiratory gases will be there because the blood is now oxygenated. So when the blood containing the different respiratory gases, mineral ions, it will reach the blood capillaries. Blood capillaries will diffuse the ions, minerals into this fluid, and from this fluid whole of the ions and nutrients will travel and diffuse into the different cells. So what is the role of this interstitial fluid? Its role is to actually pass the different ions, minerals and gases, respiratory gases, from one cell to another, because it is actually present in between the cells. So that is the role of the interstitial fluid. And then we have the last, lymph. Lymph is nothing but a colorless fluid or a liquid. It is colorless, plus 80% of lymph is water. It flows in certain vessels, and those vessels are known as, or you can say the tubes are known as lymphatic ducts. The main role of lymph is to invade remove the invading foreign bodies, or you can say bacteria, viruses. So this is the role of lymph, the major role of lymph. Its role is to actually eliminate the different invading bodies, that is the foreign bodies, the antigens that get inside human body. So it kills all these bacteria and viruses which are not required, which are accessory bodies that goes into human body. The last role, obviously we know that if it is invading the bacteria and viruses, it's causing the death of these animals. So its role is in immune system. So lymphatic system has its own role, and especially the major role is in immune system, because it is killing the bacteria and viruses. That is all about the lymphatic system. It's a general introduction about the lymphatic system. Now we'll go back to blood. We know blood flows in human body, but there are certain tubules through which the blood flows. These are arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries, these are distributing tubules or vessels. Distributing means they are distributing the oxygenated blood. They will bring the oxygenated blood from the heart, and they will drain, or they will pass this blood into the different organs so that it can reach the different cells and the farthest cell in the human body, and the cell can easily take up the ions, minerals and the respiratory gases from it. So that is why it is distributing vessel. Number 2, blood inside the arteries are always in high pressure. Why the blood is in high pressure? Because when the heart pumps the arterial blood, that is the blood which contains the oxygen, out of the heart, so it will have to travel with maximum speed so that it can reach the farthest end of the body, or you can say the farthest cell of the body. That has been done by the heart as well as the blood pressure inside the blood. If we talk about veins, veins are collecting tubules. Collecting tubules means that these collect the deoxygenated blood, the blood that has been deoxygenated by different cells. See, these arteries will send blood into the different cells. The cells will take up the mineral ions and oxygen from it, and now the blood is without any oxygen. So the blood is deoxygenated. There is no oxygen inside the blood. That blood is being carried by the veins into the heart. Now heart will again send the blood into the lungs for oxygenation. So these are collecting tubules. These will collect the blood from different part of the body and will pour that blood into the heart's chamber. Here the blood is in low pressure. because the veins don't need any high pressure. They will just have to collect the blood. They don't have to reach at the farthest end of the body, so the blood pressure is quite low in here. If we talk about arteries, these are mainly deep seated. That means arteries are quite deep in the epithelial tissue, or you can say quite deep inside the skin. Whereas in case of veins are normally superficial. Superficial means that you can easily see a vein when you look at your skin. You can see the blue colored different tubules running down your wrist. Those are the veins. So these are superficial. You can see them with the naked eyes. Now the last one is the capillaries. Capillaries are nothing but these are also the vessels, or you can say the tubules. The only difference lies is that they form a network. The second thing is they are very much fine as compared to the veins and the arteries. So these are more fine. Fine means very thin, very narrow. So the capillary network is very narrow. These are present in the form of a network, as well as the capillaries are very fine tubules. That means they are very narrow tubules. So we'll understand all this with the help of the diagram. I'll show you a diagram which will explain the presence of the arteries, vein and the capillaries in just one diagram. See, this is a vessel. This is also a vessel. Here it is a network. This network contains different tubules inside it. Here the blood is coming. Oxygenated blood is here. From here the blood is leaving the system. Deoxygenated blood is here. So this is known as this vessel. What is happening here? Blood is being carried out into the network here. So this will be a distributing vessel. Why it is distributing? Because it is distributing the blood into this capillary network. So this is the artery. Whereas when the blood is deoxygenated here, the blood will pass through this system. So that means here a vein should be there. This is a vein. What is happening? Vein is taking the blood. Vein is collecting the blood from this capillary network. And as I already said, this is a capillary network. Capillary network. So now how the exchange will take place, we'll understand that. Suppose this is a tissue, and these are the different cells which are present in the tissue. This is the interstitial fluid, or you can say tissue fluid. You can also use the word tissue fluid for interstitial fluid. This is the interstitial fluid. Now how the exchange will take place? Exchange of ions, minerals and respiratory gases. The gases and the ions will travel from here. They will go into these fine tubules. And from here, because the concentration of the ions and the minerals as well as the oxygen is more here and less here, so you know diffusion occurs from higher gradient to lower gradient. So it will diffuse from here into this part. And this part is the epithelial tissue or any other tissue. So all the minerals, ions and the respiratory gases will be taken up by these cells. How it has been taken up? With the help of interstitial fluid, because interstitial fluid is acting here as a medium. We always need a medium for different ions, minerals and solid to travel. That has been done with the help of the interstitial fluid, or you can say cellular fluid. That is also another term which we use for interstitial fluid. So that was all about how the exchange will take place, or you can say diffusion will take place. Now you know when these materials are being transported here, so ions will leave, oxygen will leave, as well as the minerals will leave this capillary network and will diffuse into the epithelial tissue. Now what is happening here? If all the oxygen has been traveled here, that means this part where the blood is flowing, now blood is without any oxygen. So the blood is, how the blood is now? What is the composition of blood? Blood is now without any oxygen. The blood is deoxygenated. Now the blood will travel through the vein and it again goes to heart for reoxygenation. Whereas if we talk about the artery, from where we started, artery, I already told you that they will collect the blood from the heart. So from where the blood is coming? This blood is coming from heart. After going through lungs. So after going through the lungs, this blood will be pumped into the arterial system. Now the blood is oxygenated. The blood will go into the capillary network. The capillary network will diffuse different mineral ions and nitrogenous respiratory gases into the epithelial tissue or any other tissue. Blood is now free from the oxygen. That means the blood is deoxygenated. Blood will leave the system with the help of the veins and reach back into the heart. So this was all about the circulating fluids. That was the general information about the circulatory system. I hope you have understood my topic and got all the points correctly. So I hope that we can meet for the next time very soon, because this is a very important topic and we need to be very certain about everything that has been going on here. Thank you so much. We will meet for the next lecture very soon.